I'm Arthur Moats, and I'm here to tell you about my new book, The Moats Theory of Life. If you haven't picked up a copy yet, I strongly encourage you to. This book not only is a fun read, but it's a guide to helping you become a person of impact and inspiration. If you are ready to take the next step to improving not only your life, but those around you as well, go get a copy of The Moats Theory of Life, and it's available at moatstheory.com. What's up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's up, man?
Man, fly guy. Look at it. He brought the button up back out, kept the jeans extra ripped up. I like it.
Nah, man.
I like it.
Nothing special.
Hey, got the Rolex hat on too, boy. You big
Rolex.
flexing. Now I saw the crown, man.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of brand this is, to be honest with you.
No, I just saw the crown and made me think of the Rolly.
It's one of my dad's hats. So,
Hey, man, might be a Rolly then.
speaking of hats,
Hey, might be a Rolly.
I got something. I got something in the works here. So
Okay.
just stay tuned.
I
think
man.
it'll make people happy.
I like it then, man. Looking forward to seeing it then. How about that?
No doubt, dude. How's everything going here?
Man, things are good, man. But do got to do a little bit of, not even housekeeping, man. Got some bad news, man. Two people that I know, man, passed away over the weekend, bro. So one was a New York Post photographer, Anthony Cossi. He actually passed away from the coronavirus, bro.
No.
Yes, man. It's crazy. Actually had a chance to interact with him a couple of times at some Pens games, playoff stuff like that. Actually got a dope shot. Sid Crosby scoring a goal. Me, wife, we on the glass, banging. He gets the picture perfect, bro. It was dope, bro. But he passed away, man. I think it was would have been Sunday night. And then this morning, I found out that one of my former teammates, man, Tavares Jackson, passed away last night, man. Yeah, car crash.
No.
In Alabama, bro. Yes, man.
Dude,
So
that sucks.
So with that being said, man, give both of these dudes a moment of silence real quick, man. Chad, bro.
Dude, that sucks.
It's crazy.
I'm sorry to hear.
Yeah, man. Rough times out here, baby.
I can't believe Tavares Jackson.
Yeah, it was nuts. 36 years old, man.
Man.
Yeah. So he was in a car crash at 9 p.m. last night, bro. So hard times, man. Hard times. But, just thinking about any of these dudes like that passed away, man, you always think about the fun times, the good moments. Funny story about Tavares, man. I was
going to say, yeah. So literally, give us a story.
Yeah, man. So I think about when we first became teammates in Buffalo. Now, when I first met Tavares, he was playing with the Vikings, backing up Brett Favre, right? So I'm telling Tavares, I'm like, yo, man, first time I met you, like, man, it was a little, I ain't really like you like that. He was like, why? I said, man, so you remember I knock out Brett Favre, my third play of the game, right? So our whole game plan was for Brett Favre. Brett Favre is what? He'll extend plays, but he's throwing. You don't have to worry about him running the ball. Mm-hmm. Tavares, complete opposite. Tavares is going to run. We would say he's an athlete at quarterback. Man, so Tavares comes in and literally Adrian Peterson kills us on the ground, but Tavares, we had no answer for him scrambling to run. So it was probably 3 or 4 big, 20, 30-yard gains he had in that game that ended up breaking our back. And I told him, I was like, man, you messed up this perfect day I had. Just this perfect day I had, man. I knocked out Brett Favre. I sacked you once. We was about to go on this roll. And then you just started running around and just killing us, man. So ever since then, I did not like it. But now that we're teammates, we got to be friends. And he was just laughing about the story because he remembered it, obviously, because it's not, when you're backing up Brett Favre, you don't get a lot of playing time like that, man. So for him, it was like, man, that was one of my favorite games, man. I got to come here and do my thing. And I was like, dude, I feel some type of way about that. But it was cool, man. He was super humble cat, man. Always upbeat, smiling, man. Just a fun dude to be around, bro. So crazy, man, to see him go like that, man.
That's a shame.
Yeah, bro. Rough times, man.
Did you actually lose that Vikings game?
We did because of him.
Okay.
Yes.
Because that's one of your big things is knocking out Brett Favre. No one ever talks about the rest of the game.
Yeah, because the rest of the game, Tavares came in there and he, like I said, his scrambling. We had the plan of, hey, man, we're going to sit back. Well, actually, we're going to play man-to-man. We knew we had to plaster versus Brett Favre because he extends so many plays. And if you're a rusher, just keep running. Versus scrambling quarterback, though, you can't play all that man-to-man. We talked about that when you're playing against Lamar. When you're playing against Russell Wilson, when you turning your backs on those guys, they could pull that ball down and take off. And before you see it, they're already 15, 20 yards. And he could run. So that was the biggest issue and why we ended up losing that game. Adrian Peterson went off, but he was the one who was just breaking our back.
It's funny you bring that up because how many times have we talked about the backup QB coming in for that first game and looking good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The defense isn't prepared.
Absolutely, man.
I didn't listen.
We were not prepared for a scrambling quarterback. Like if that's your initial game plan, then you're playing more zone coverages. Your rush plans are different. Instead of just straight rushes in terms of everybody having a one-on-one, you're doing a lot more twisting in games because you want to cloudy it up so the quarterback can't get away. But when you're going in there with the game plan for a guy that's sitting in the pocket and scrambling around but not trying to run, yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah. And we found that out the hard way. But then obviously after that, man, they ended up getting him the contract to go to Seattle and everything that following year, I think it was. So, I mean, it worked out for him. Obviously, they draft Russell Wilson and, he ends up backing up him for a while. But, yeah, man, it was just crazy to see, wake up to that news. Like, what? Like, no. 36 years old, man.
I mean, we've talked about it with the whole Kobe incident. Now it's just, I guess, more reminders of you just never know. Yeah, man. You never know. You just try to make the most of what you do have, right?
Absolutely, bro.
That's all we got.
Crazy to think, man. So both them two dudes, man, two really good guys, man. Gone too soon. So.
Yeah, definitely. Nah. Thanks for sharing. I'm sorry to hear.
No doubt, man. No doubt. I feel like, man, with anybody you interact with, it's important that you take something from them. You know what I mean? Whether it's a story like this, pictures, whatever it may be. But then at the end of the day, man, whenever that person does pass, you put that back out there so people can see just how that person was impactful to you. You know what I mean? Right. And who knows how many other people are going to have different stories and things like that. But it's always important, I feel like, to share that stuff so that way everybody can kind of understand like just who that person was, more so than just a headline. And that was kind of the thing I was getting at with that.
No, definitely. No, for sure. 100%. Yeah. So thank you.
No doubt, man. So on a lighter note, though,
yes,
we do have something very fun, a nice treat for our listeners today, man.
Yes,
we were able to talk to Nickell Robey-Coleman, man, recently signed with the Philadelphia Eagles, played with the Rams. Obviously, he was my teammate in Buffalo. He stopped by, do an interview with us. It was dope. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
There's some really good stories too, man. Like just hearing his welcome to the NFL story, some of the different motivations he had to go back to school and stuff like that, man. You're going to be able to hear all of that in this podcast, man. So definitely give it a listen.
And I guess if you don't know who he is,
tell him.
There was the pass interference versus the Saints.
The no pass interference, remember?
Right. The no pass interference call in the Rams Saints NFC Championship 2 years ago. Yes. He was the cornerback.
Yes.
So obviously we talked about that with him. Absolutely, that was hilarious. But wait, did you see? It was literally, I think, hours after we did the interview or the next day. I can't really remember. My time is just all jacked up right now. But they got rid of that rule. They initially changed
no more pass interference replays. Yeah,
they initially changed the rule
solely because of him,
and now they changed it back. I don't know if you're him, which you prefer.
I think it was cool to get it changed for you, but because you're still on the negative side of it, I think you kind of wanted to go back rather because right now, anytime we talked about, man, why is this a rule? They go right back to that play. They go right back to him. And it kind of discredits the true player that he is because when you say his name and people look at him, they instantly think of a bad play as a DB. They think of a pass interference play, a play that should have been pass interference. So it discredits his talent. It discredits what he's been able to accomplish in terms of his productivity on the NFL field, because all we talk about is a negative. So I think, if you're him, you definitely love the attention it brought you, but you want to be known more so for doing good things on the field versus, man, you should have been called for pass interference. Because I look at it's no different than like Burfict, right? With Burfict, I tell you all the time, like Burfict was, when he was playing, he was one of the best linebackers in the game. Like, I don't care what you say about him. Like, dudes, man, even when we were ready to fight this dude, some of us did get into altercations with him. We would still say, dude, he is a dog. And that's why you get so mad, because it's like you want to cheap shot him and do all this other stuff. And it's like, you can't, because he could ball. But no one talked about that because it got overshadowed by the negative. And that's kind of like when I look at Robey, I'm like, dude, this dude's been balling his career, but the only thing that gets talked about is that one particular play.
Yeah. It's so interesting it got changed back because it was kind of a failure this year, right?
Yeah, well, the thing was, fans wanted it to be more overturns. And then the NFL essentially was like, we're not overturning unless it's like crazy egregious.
So there was no point in having it. That's why they got rid of it.
But we did say even when it started, though, that's a slippery slope because just like holding, we said it's holding on every play. I said you can call pass interference on every play with these DBs. And when you're slowing it down, is the offensive guy pushing off? Is the defender pulling? And we saw multiple times where
there's
you
always
see
a little bit of that.
And it's like, okay, well, are you going to allow it because it's the receiver and he's more talked about? Or are you going to call it by the book? Because if you're calling it by the book, a lot of these receivers have benefited from the push-offs. A lot. And it's highly documented. It's clear. You slow it down. Shoot, love AB to death. AB got some bad ones out there. I'm talking some gross ones. I'm like, AB, if you want on my team, I will fight you for this. Like, this is bad.
Some touchdowns.
Yeah. Like, there's been two-hand highlight reel, two-hand push, touchdown.
Yeah, no joke.
Terrible.
There's been touchdowns with him where you're just waiting for it.
Yes.
Is this flag going to happen? Are they going to talk about this at all? Nothing happens. Like, okay, let's go. It's AB.
So with that being said, man, I kind of like the fact they're just gonna get away with the rule, like no more replay of it. Just let it happen, man. Because like I said, every play with these receivers, even with these DBs, some of them get real handsy at the breaks. Like it's either or. So just to avoid all that, man, avoid the gray area associated with it, man. I think it was a smart move by the NFL.
Yeah. If I was Nickell, though, I'm kind of pumped about the whole rule change, though, just in general. I, to be part of such an impactful decision as a rule change.
Is it impactful or is it controversial, though? Big time controversy associated with
to change a rule over what I did. I don't know. I think that's
big time controversy because I look at it like this, right?
Like 20 years down the line, it's going to be something cool to look back on.
But this is what I say. So I look at it like, when they changed the rule for Mel Blount, right, in terms of him jamming receivers, it was never that he did something so negative and egregious that it would have been like, God, man, this dude sucks. He's cheating. Like, people viewed that Robey play as like, man, you a bum. What were you doing even out there? You just ran into this dude. You didn't even try to play the ball. Like, you suck. The Saints supposed to go to the Super Bowl because of you. You cheated. You see what I mean? Whereas like with Mel, it was like, dude, Mel, you're so great that they changed the rule for you. They changed the rule for you, man.
I might be blinded. I might be blinded because I know you and you know him.
Yeah.
And you've talked about him around me for the past like year or so.
Yeah.
Just mentioning him in passing and saying like he's a good corner and everything. So I know that.
Game versus the Rams when we had this year where he strips the ball from James Washington before halftime. I'm like, dude, that's Robey. Like, he could ball, but nobody talks about him for that, though.
Yeah, so I might be, like, blinded. There might be a filter right now, because if I didn't know you...
It's totally different.
Yeah, I would probably just know him as the guy that did the pass interference no call. You're probably right. Because
it's a big difference with that, man.
That's what I'm saying. You've been telling me he's a really good corner. Yeah. And then, obviously... our site, PFF's ranking him pretty good. And
not our site. Don't. You just gonna throw that into our site?
It's not my site.
It's not my site.
But we like talking about it, so it is our site.
Well, I'm always torn with PFF. Because
actually, it is my site sometimes.
This is my thing with PFF. I'm not a fan of their rankings and stuff like that. But my dog, Bruce Gronkowski, he works for them, man. So I'm like, that's my dog. So I like him.
So it's legit enough.
I can't totally discredit, because if I discredit this site, it discredits my dog. But I'm not a fan of it. And I just leave it at that, man.
Who else they got on there? I don't know who else. I mean, Collinsworth heads it up.
And what McCarthy, he interned with them, or what did he do this past year? But
I think he was doing his own project.
Yeah, but they said he was like there with them, like learning and all this other stuff. So I'm like,
what did he say? He watched every play?
Yeah, with them and stuff like that.
I think every game and just broke it down and gave his own analysis, and that's what he brought into the Cowboys room.
Right, the new wave analytics, man. So we'll see. We'll see, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're definitely going to love that interview, though.
Enjoy that interview. I definitely
did. Without a doubt. And now, something that we've been talking about doing, we initially started with the running backs, I guess it was 2 weeks ago now. And we said we were going to get to these DBs, these Steeler all-time list cornerbacks, the depth chart. And for some reason, we just, we got wrapped up in these past couple episodes. Haven't had a chance to really get it. We talked about the all-decade team.
We were doomed to fail.
Yeah. So
if we're talking all-decade team, position by position, you know that's going to be
it was a setup. It was a setup. I mean, just in the quarterback room alone, that could have been a podcast. So, but now we are here, and without further ado, we're going to get into these Steelers all-time team quarterbacks. Now, just a refresher, the way we're doing it is we're going to list our top 3 in terms of how we will rank them. We're only doing the top 3. We'll have honorable mention and things like that. But it is time. Now, I know Deke is going to ask me, are we going 3-1 or 1-3? Because he likes to flip-flop. So whichever one he does, you just never really know. So the way we're going to do it is I'll list my 3 first. And my honorable mention. Okay. Deke lists his 3, and then from there we'll debate it and talk about it. So for me, man, I'm gonna go 3-1. And my 2 honorable mentions. I had 2 honorable mentions. I had JT Thomas and Ike Taylor as my honorable mentions. I felt like both of those guys, man, multiple time Super Bowl champs, highly productive. Ike, I mean, I feel like Ike, he could have been a lot higher on this list if he could just catch the ball. Ike would have been a Hall of Famer if he could just catch the ball. Yep. Ike could tell you himself he can't catch the ball. That was some of the most funny things I've ever seen, man. Just being in practice and the ball hit him in the hands. He's like, man, y'all know I can't catch, man. Why y'all even tripping? And we're like, you're right, Ike. You know what? And I've seen Ike get on the jug machines and it just don't work. I'm like, your hands broke. Your hands don't work. It's cool. You can cover, but you can't catch. It's cool. But that's what separated him. That's separated Ike, man. If Ike could just catch the ball, just catch the ball.
Yeah.
So with that, man, I have to still have him as an honorable mention. So him and JT Thomas, shout out to JT.
Honorable mention. That's interesting.
Yeah, man. JT Thomas, a legend in the game, man. Obviously, first round pick out of Macon. He said that he didn't even know he was going to get drafted, man, when that whole thing happened, man. We have to get him on the podcast and share that story.
That'd be dope.
Awesome dude, man. Awesome dude. But my 3 guys, man. So number 3, I have Dwayne Woodruff. That's my number 3. Okay. Then from there, had to go Rod Woodson, man. Big time baller. And then number 1 is Mel Blount, man. Yeah, man. So those are my 3. So you give yours and we'll talk about it.
What?
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Go ahead.
I thought this was just going to be a non-debating podcast. We were just going to get by. I thought.
Go ahead. Go. So, let's hear it. We're going to hear from you.
Come on, man. What?
We're going to hear in a second, man. Go ahead.
I'm just so thrown off right now because... All right, so Ike Taylor's my honorable mention.
Okay.
This is the one I was really going back and forth with. Mm-hmm. And it was between him and Joe Hayden for the 3 spot.
Okay, fair enough.
So I went with Joe Hayden, and we can get into the reasons why as we go forward. But yeah, 3 was Joe Hayden, honorable mention Ike Taylor. Mm-hmm. 2 is Mel Blount, 1 Rod Woodson.
Fair enough. I like it, man. All right, so let's talk, man. So
do we want to go 3 here? Just talk about 3?
Talk 3. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay. So Woodruff. I don't even know who this dude is. I'm being dead serious, dude. I'm being dead serious. He's not on the Steelers Madden all-time team. I'll tell you that.
Stop it.
I'll tell you that right now.
Stop it. Oh, man.
Actually, he might be, but Ike Taylor's the 3rd cornerback.
Listen. I'll just say this, man. Dwayne Woodruff is 3rd all time on the Steelers interceptions. He has 37 interceptions, all with Pittsburgh. Okay. 157 games with a 1-time Super Bowl champ. I'm
guessing he's the 70s cornerback.
Yeah, he can ball. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Like, the dude could flat out ball, bro. Like, legend in the game, man. Dope. I think they call him the Judge, matter of fact. Okay. Yes, man.
In 79 to 90 is when he played.
Bro, what? Holy cow, man. Holy cow.
I'm just being real with you.
Oh, God. You ain't just say that, Deke. Come on, man.
I did, man.
Golly, man. I'm about to pull your Steelers fan card, man.
Come on.
Nah, bro. You talk all this, man. I'm a Steelers diehard, man. I love the Steelers, man. It's always Steelers. And that's why I rock with Ben, Steelers. You don't know Dwayne Woodruff? Are you crazy? Come on, man.
It was before my time.
Come on. Mel Blount, was it?
I don't know.
So you grew up watching Mel Blount?
You
said it before your time, so you grew up watching Mel Blount.
No, I'm going to say this. There's a reason why he's not on my radar. I'll put it that way. There must be a reason. There must be a reason that Mel Blount, Rod Woodson is just like a given. Okay, these guys are goats, and they're talked about. There's stories passed down about them.
Wow.
I haven't. Here, I'll put it this way. The name sounds familiar. Woodruff sounds familiar.
Clearly it doesn't, because when I say, you say who?
It sounds familiar, but I said who because I really don't.
Who is this guy? Who?
Exactly. I don't really know who he is.
Wow. That's interesting.
I've heard the name in passing before.
That's interesting, man. Shoot, he is a dope legend. In fact, I actually got to spend, this is my second cruise I've done with him, man. The Stills Legends cruise. He's always up there too, man. Awesome cat though, bro. Awesome cat.
So I don't even know what to debate right now. Do I debate Ike Taylor versus him? No, because I have Ike Taylor as my honorable mention, but I would have him at 3 if Joe wasn't around.
Now, see, the thing was this. So I liked Ike. Like, Ike's my dog. Ike is crazy to be around. Love that dude, man. He can flat out ball, man. Just a fun guy. Like, you come to work and you just enjoy being around Ike, man. He got crazy stories. He practices crazy hard and he gonna compete, talk smack, man. You love it. The biggest thing for me in terms of Ike versus Dwayne was I know Ike has had to play against the newer wave of athletes, right? We talk about like the newer wave of the receivers and stuff like that. Watch him face Ocho Cinco, watch him go against AJ Green, all these other top-notch receivers. And you're like, man, did these guys back then really face somebody like that? And I really don't know. I personally don't feel like they did. I mean, we talk about how the athletes.
Wait, but you got Woodruff ahead of him.
I do. Just hear me out.
Okay.
Yeah, just hear me out. That's why I said I could make the argument for either or.
Okay.
Yeah, but with Ike, it's like, man, I loved watching the dude, man. He could ball. He can compete. I mean, shoot. I even got the chance to see when he broke his arm. It was gross. It was nasty. Shout out to Lawrence Timmons, man. Friendly fire is crazy. You know what I mean? It was nasty. I ain't never want to see that again. Oh, made me want to throw up. But it's like, when I look at Ike and I understand the things he was able to accomplish as a corner, man, he has the hardware in terms of getting the rings. Like, that was big to me as well. But when I look at the fact that Ike only has 14 picks versus 37 picks, I'm like, I don't care. Like, we always talk about your 3 things, right? The eyeball test, stats, all this other stuff, right?
Ike Taylor definitely got the eye test.
Yeah, he has the eye test.
Because he doesn't have the other accolades. Neither does Woodruff, though. They're pretty comparable.
Now, when you say he doesn't have the accolades in terms of what? The Pro Bowls. Yeah. Okay, fair enough, yes. But we will say this, too. When we look at Ike, I don't see any of the Pro Bowls. Huh? You know what I'm saying?
That's what I mean. Neither one of them did.
Right.
That's why they're comparable.
Right. Very, very true. Very true. But the thing that gets me, like, when I look at 37 picks versus 14 picks, that's a large margin. I think we all can agree with that. And for me, that's why I lean towards that. And like I said, when we did this list, I'm looking at Steeler stats, right? That's what we talked about. Steeler. This dude does it as a Steeler. So that was my whole thought process with it. Whereas with Joe's, when we look at when we look at Joe's stats, I'm comparing Joe off of a couple of seasons here in Pittsburgh.
3, right?
Right. So it's not gonna match up to these guys' numbers right now.
Yeah, see, I think that's just definitely where we differ in terms of longevity and stuff, because I'm thinking I need a corner. Who am I taking? And obviously going back 2017, the Steelers wanted Joe Hayden for a reason. And we paid him a lot, and this was my whole thing going back and forth between Joe Hayden and Ike Taylor. There's a reason Joe Hayden's gotten paid. I think he's over $100 million for his career. But
he also was a top 5 pick pre-CBA, so that was a
but even if you look at his consequential contracts, though, they don't touch what Ike Taylor had, or they're past Ike Taylor. Ike Taylor's doesn't touch Joe Hayden's.
But I'm just saying, whenever you factor in the money, you have to understand how that works in the NFL, bro. Like, Ike came in before Joe. You see what I mean?
Yeah, there's all that.
Ike's money situation is still going to be a little bit different, just because the longer you play, the more current it is, the bigger the money is going to be for you. That's all I'm saying, man. Like, if that's the case, we were going to talk the money argument. Rod Woodson and Mel Blount got robbed.
Yeah, but that's
playing, you know what I mean?
Ike Taylor and Joe Hayden are more similar in terms of eras played and the money.
It's probably like a 9-year difference between them, though.
So you think
me and Joe came in the same year?
You think the money being that drastic?
It's almost a 9-year difference. Think about Ike played 13, 12 years. Him and Troy came in together, so they got 11 or 12 years.
Yeah,
and me and Joe came in together. So you think like that span, man, like it's almost 10 years.
All right, let me look, because from what I remember here. You've got to be kidding me. I can't find... Oh, here it is. Sporttrack.com. This place is like really...
They do all the contract stuff. Everybody knows that.
This is really easy to look at here. So earnings, Ike Taylor, his biggest... All right, so he had a $9 million... I don't know if this is just called total cash. So I guess this is what he got in 2011. I don't know if it's taking some of the other contracts and adding them into this or what, but he got $9 million in 2011, a little over $9 million. Yeah. But outside of that, it's 5, 4, 3s, and 2s the rest of the years. And if you look at Joe's, let me pull it up. I think he had over like $100 million in career earnings. But
can we also remember?
Hold on, let me pull it up.
But think about this too. Just because it's like when you try to talk the money element, it's multiple variables. What has Ike had his whole career at quarterback, or a large majority of his career at quarterback, taking up a lot of money? With Joe in Cleveland, who is their highest paid quarterback?
But if you look at his numbers in Pittsburgh here,
think about it. That's all I'm simply saying. Like
7, 10, 15.
Just listen.
Okay.
It's a lot of factors and variables that go into that. I understand what you're trying to say, man, but it's flawed, bro. Like, it's hard to just say because this guy has made more money, because a lot of things that factor into that.
I'm not saying that's the sole reason. Yeah. It's just part of it where it makes me sit back and think, the Steelers went out of their way to get Joe Hayden. Okay. Steelers paid him some nice contracts here, as opposed to
Jamarcus Russell got a nice contract too. Trent Richardson got a nice contract too.
Joe Hayden has backed it up though, both ways, before and after.
Just simply saying, Joe has never had it before. Joe was a top 5 pick pre-CBA.
I'm not talking about the Cleveland.
I'm just saying, like, you can't say that he was a before and after, because he's always been highly paid.
I'm not talking about being paid. I'm talking more of like production before he's gotten his second and third contract. Right. He backed it up by being the first round pick and then coming in and performing. And his second contract, he deserved the second contract based off his past performance. And he backed it up again. So he just got his third contract recently. So his past performance dictated the third contract. Bro, now he's going to back it up and go to a couple more Pro
It's hard to
Bowls.
come at Ike and make the argument against Ike because of money, when it's a lot of things that go into that, man.
No, that's not my sole argument. I mean,
you put it in there. You put it in there, man. I'm saying it's a lot that goes into that, man.
I mean, if the Steelers are willing, like I said, to go out of their way to get Joe Hayden.
Now, my question is this. So if Ike would have said, when the Steelers came to him for the negotiation, to give him, what, $5-6 million a year, what if he said, no, I'm going to go hit the market and hit $10 million a year? He would have been wrong there, right?
No.
But I'm just saying, like, according to your argument here, because he was getting paid, he didn't get paid crazy amounts of money.
He was taking discounts, what you're saying.
So you gonna hold that against him then?
I'm not. I don't know if he was or not.
You just did though. You tell me. You tell me how they gonna pay Ike, Troy, Debo, Timmons, Woodley, Ben. I mean, that's a lot of miles getting fed over there. Somebody gonna take it short. That's all I'm saying. I know I took a little bit less to stay here. So we holding that against us now? That's what we're doing?
In this argument, I could throw it in
That's
there.
Crazy.
Just a little bit.
That's all I'm saying. That's crazy. Like, how you going to fault a guy for that?
Oh,
It's a lot of these that go into that.
I didn't know that, man. I didn't know if he was taking pay cuts or not.
It's a lot that goes into a guy's contract situation.
But hold on. Here's the thing. So...
You don't think Ike could have got paid more?
Yeah, but what did I say? 2, 3, and 4 million were his majority contracts, and a couple 5s in there too. So between that and what's Joe's average, like a 9 or 10 over the course of his contract.
I told you that the time.
So you're saying he's taking that much of a pay cut?
This is what you have to understand, though.
There is probably a million or two difference in inflation.
Easily.
Okay.
So imagine, the $1 to $2 million in inflation difference, and then say he hits the market and goes and really gets the highest bidder. Because remember, Joe didn't get paid like that. I mean, he was already paid, obviously, in Cleveland. But when he came to Pittsburgh, he knew, we had to throw out big paper to get him in here, because he had other teams bidding against him. If Joe was already under contract in Pittsburgh, you don't think this new contract Joe got, he could have got more in the open market?
Not sure.
He definitely could have.
But you're playing into my point then. Joe Hayden could have got even more on the open market. This is what I'm saying. So could Ike Taylor.
This is what I'm saying.
The numbers are equal.
So Joe has already had a chance to hit the open market. So when you make that argument that, man, we paid him big to come here to Pittsburgh, he was already on the open market. So that already benefited him grossly way more than Ike, because Ike never had that opportunity. But Ike came in with a low head start. I mean, Joe had the bigger head start coming in just off of draft positions. Right. And we already know this.
I'm not talking about Cleveland though. Still,
I'm just simply saying, in general, him coming to Pittsburgh, he came as a free agent. So his pay up front was still going to be drastically higher than what Ike could have ever negotiated because of Ike already being on the roster, because of Ike not being a top 5 pick. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So like from a money standpoint, that argument is hard to make.
No, but whenever Joe did have his second contract with us recently, that's a similar situation to Ike Taylor's then. That's
a one time though.
We paid him good. I don't know. It's just something to consider. Because you're bringing up good points, and there are a lot of factors that play into it.
I just don't think you understand it, like how the NFL money works like that, man.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
maybe not. It's a simple thing to look at though, and just say, he's getting paid a lot. The Steelers are kind of going out of their way to get him in here. And then I'll add to this argument here. I mean, Joe Hayden's got a Pro Bowl, and then I just think I got to ask you this because I do think Ike Taylor is extremely underrated. He's went up against the top receivers throughout his career. He's had bad moments, though. I'm thinking back in 2006, he got benched.
Okay. Yes.
This was whenever Cowher was on his last year. It was just an ugly year, dude. He got benched. I thought we thought he was going to be out of the league. Or I don't know what was going on.
Tebow play.
The Tebow play, but like from after that 2006, from like 2007 to 2011, 12, 13, like that time period, that 5 or 6 year run, I mean, any receiver you threw out there, you weren't hearing about them whenever he's going up against Ike.
Ike ball, bro.
I thought he was extremely underrated, but that's my question to you. Who do you think's better? Just
Joe is
outside
Joe
of
better, but all I'm simply saying is, I say Joe is better. It has zero to do with money because it's so many variables that play into money that you can't just say, well, this person has made more money, so that's got to be them being a better player, because that's not the case.
Okay,
you see what I mean?
We could scrap that for this.
But like Joe, from an athletic standpoint, Joe's the far better athlete. Joe has played on some defenses in Cleveland that haven't been nowhere near the defense that Ike has played on in Pittsburgh in terms of the pieces around him. The best people that Joe played with while he was in Cleveland was TJ Ward. He had him there for a year. I don't think Dante Whitner might have had one season over there. From linebacker
who was their other cornerback? They've been drafting so many first rounders to try to put outside.
And Joe was always on the other side, just kind of like, all
Justin Gilbert.
Yeah, because we brought him over. He was nowhere near that.
There was another first rounder they spent on a corner. I can't remember.
Was it Denzel?
Why do I want to say his name is Eric? I could be wrong with that though.
I don't know.
I think they've spent high picks on corners.
Corners, absolutely, yeah. So for Joe's had to be the bright spot by himself with not a lot of help. And those same receivers that we talk about that Ike's had to go against, right? Man, Ike's going against this guy, that guy, and that guy. Joe's doing the same thing. Joe's had to do that, but Joe's been a part of a far worse team.
He didn't have Polamalu back there.
I'm like, you think about the people that Ike played with, that pass rush, the run defense, the safety support around him.
Yeah, Ryan Clark wasn't bad either.
So for me, man, when I think about all those variables, Joe, if we're just talking career, give me Joe.
Yeah.
When we're talking Steelers, that's where we differ. Like, I'm not about to take a guy that played for the Steelers for 10 years and switch him out for a guy that played 3 years. Like, Joe's impact is felt, but that 3-year impact has not been better than Ike's whole career as a Steeler. You can sit here and say that. I'm going to look at you like you're crazy. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know if I'm going to say that.
But you did, though. You said that's where we differ. I would take this dude's 3 years over these other guys who have the longevity. That's what you said.
I would just take this dude if I'm like,
That's what you said.
Goes back to the whole thing. I'm starting a team tomorrow. I want Joe Hayden over Ike Taylor. That's it.
Hey.
It's kind of...
But you say that, and then I'm going to ask you, so if you're starting a team tomorrow, you're taking Joe Hayden over Mel Blount too then, right?
No.
Why?
I'm just not better.
Why?
Huh?
What's the difference?
Mel Blount's just better.
How you figure?
Just look at all of his accolades.
Oh, now we're going accolades and stats. Which one is it, man? I'm just want to know.
Joe Hayden's got a Pro Bowl. And
A Pro Bowl. Yeah. Hey.
But I'm not really looking too much into that because I want this player. I'm starting a team tomorrow. I'm going out. My life's on the line. This is who I want as my third corner. I want Joe Hayden over Ike Taylor.
Okay. And what if this is in like...
Well, hold on.
What if it's 06 where we're running the ball all
what
the time too?
What about Kevin Green in terms of like all-time linebackers? So he's got 3 years with us, right?
Did you see the amount of sacks he acquired in those 3 years?
Crazy years, but still, that's 3 years.
Did you see the amount of sacks he's acquired in those 3 years?
Yes, crazy.
So all I'm saying is this, that if Joe went out there and he had 7 picks in his first 3 years here, that's a totally different conversation.
I don't know how different, though. He's got a Pro Bowl, and
he's had 32 sacks in 3 years?
I know, but
that's crazy.
Joe Hayden's bald, though. My point is,
you just simply you asked that question, and I said if you look at Kevin Green's all-time sack numbers, he's still going to be up there in Pittsburgh. That's all I'm saying. Whereas Joe, if we're just looking at all-time picks or Joe's 3 years here in Pittsburgh, it's not going to be up there like that. That's all I'm saying.
If you're talking stats, but firsthand impact, Joe Hayden's impact these 3 years, right?
I just simply said. But you going to tell me his impact was more than Ike Taylor's?
If you're talking course of career, it's hard to argue. That's why I'm not really.
We're not talking. We're talking Steelers.
I don't know, dude. I just want Joe Hayden over Ike Taylor.
I'm just simply saying if I'm going over what they did at Steelers, that's where I'm at.
He's just the better cornerback, even though, like I said, I think Ike's extremely underrated, and I was going back and forth with this one. I just think he's a better corner. That's all, and I want him on my team.
All right.
And if I'm playing an offense for a do or die game for the earth, or my lights on, whatever it is, I need Joe Hayden over Ike Taylor. I think you would too.
All right. Cool. So which one did you go for your 3?
I have Joe Hayden.
Joe Hayden? Okay, so
honorable
who's your
mention
2?
Ike Taylor.
And you were with Mel Blount for your 2?
Yeah, so this is, I guess, where we're flip-flopping on the 1s and 2s here.
All right. So why'd you go with Mel at 2?
Dude, Rod Woodson is better, man.
I'm just asking.
That's simply it. 2's a nice award for this,
Okay. Now, are you confusing whole career or just Steeler time? I'm just asking.
Come on, dude.
I'm just asking a question.
It doesn't matter.
For me, it does matter because if I'm,
are we flipping it here? I don't.
What do you mean?
See, I didn't know about all these guidelines.
We said that. We said what they did as Steelers, not their all the time. We just said as Steelers.
I don't know though. Whenever we were talking running backs, though, didn't we consider Bus's Rams years? We were considering that.
Then we said we would take one of those years off. We said we could take his year off, and then we said we would take off Franco's Seattle year.
No, I don't know. Okay. I think it's
okay. So if that's the case, then why didn't I bring in Le'Veon's Jet year? Because remember I said we could talk about that, and if we're going to talk about that, that was a bad year for him.
I think you did. I think you were knocking him versus Bus.
All I'm saying is...
Because you had Bus over Bell.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Because Bus's career as a Steeler is a lot better than Le'Veon's career as a Steeler. That's all I'm saying.
Le'Veon's 3 years, though. And
we already talked about it. Le'Veon's 3 years versus all of Bettis' years here in Pittsburgh, and it's not tough to beat. It was beaten badly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We just differ.
We could go career wise, and I said we went career wise. You'll see that Bussy and Franco have more rushing yards, but obviously Le'Veon is either right there with them or has more passing yards. Pass receiving yards. But then we said the fumbles were the thing that we just kind of like left as not which team they were at when they had these fumbles. We left the fumbles as is. We did talk about that as well.
Yeah.
So when I look at Rod and Mel Blount, I said, okay, his 200 games as a Steeler, this is what he did. When I look at Rod 134 games as a Steeler, and this is what he did.
Man,
that's all I'm saying, man.
I just want Rod Woodson over Mel Blount.
Hey, fair enough.
I think he's the better corner. It goes back to the whole Joe Hayden versus Ike Taylor and Joe Hayden versus Dwayne Woodruff. I just think he's better. So I think Rod Woodson's better. They both have a defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
See, I'd have to go into Pro Football Reference.
Both got a ton of Pro Bowls. Mel had 5. I think Rod has 11 over his career.
So,
excuse me.
I just have in my notes just the career stats for both of them. So I have to go into Pro Football Reference to look up like this.
Well, just pull up Rod Wilson's career stats because I have Rod's Steeler years: 134 games, 38 picks, 16 forced fumbles, 671 tackles.
Hold on, let me pull this up here. And then we got,
and then Mel Blount, 200 games as a Steeler, 57 picks. We already talked about the Pro Bowl. They didn't have all the tackles and forced fumbles for him though.
Okay,
but we do know that they changed the whole rule for that man.
Okay.
You talked about that change in the rule thing, too.
So here we go with Rod Woodson. Something else to consider here. I'm looking at the slashes in terms of position.
Because he was a punt returner as well.
Kick returner, punt returner.
Definitely brought value, without a doubt.
Okay.
But are we talking about best punt returner, kick returner all the time? Or are we talking about corner?
Dude, I'm
tell me.
So I'm looking even outside of the San Fran and the Baltimore and Oakland years, which is crazy impressive.
He balled.
He was 37 years old, and it looks like he made an All-Pro with Oakland as a safety. That's absurd. 8 picks.
He did the Charles Woodson switch.
Yeah.
Play corner the first half, and then once you get a little longer in the tooth, move to safety. Use your knowledge.
Well, and I think Charles Woodson was on those teams too.
Yeah.
02 and 03. He was a youngin. Okay, so with Rod Woodson's Pittsburgh years here, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Pro Bowls still though. 1, 2, 3.
Mel has 5.
4, 5 All Pros.
Oh, you're talking about All Pros? Okay.
With Pittsburgh, 7 All Pros. Or I'm sorry, 5 All Pros and 7 Pro Bowls with Pittsburgh. That's Rod Woodson, not even considering the Baltimore,
correct,
Oakland, San Francisco years. Okay, so I'm looking at that and I'm saying he was the GOAT during that time period. I mean,
you're funny.
You got him and Deion Sanders.
So hold on, because I was about to say. So how's he the GOAT? Please tell me.
Those two are, if you're doing all decade team in the 90s, you're putting him and Deion Sanders.
I'm going Deion Sanders. So how can Rob be the GOAT? Please tell me. Don't you disrespect prime time like that.
Wait, you don't throw GOAT out loosely like I do?
No, absolutely not. What?
There could be a few GOATs.
No, it can't. It's one GOAT.
There's a few.
It's
GOATs.
one GOAT. Deion. Deion's the GOAT at corner.
Those are the two
Anybody
GOATs.
playing during Deion time is competing for second place. Stop playing with me, man. Stop it. What? I'm going to say he's the GOAT. What?
2 GOATs.
And Rod's awesome. Rod's another guy who was on that Steelers cruise too, man. He's a dope dude, bro.
Those are the 2 GOATs of the 90s.
Okay.
Mel Blount probably could say he's one of the GOATs in the 70s, though. I don't know too much about the 70s corners.
Probably could say he's one of the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, but I would have Rod Woodson over him. 4, those, like I said, 7 Pro Bowls, 5-time All-Pro. We got a little kick return, punt return element in there too. He has a season. What'd you say his Pittsburgh years were for the interceptions?
38.
38. What was Mel Blount's?
57.
57. Looks like they're comparable years, but comparable in like seasons, right?
Well, no, because Mel had a ton of 14-year seasons, and then I think he might have had 1 or 2 16s.
Hold on, let me pull him up here. I got him going. All right, so he has 70 to 83. That's 14 years. How many did Rod Woodson play here with Pittsburgh? 96 to 87. That's 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he was.
That's a lot of extra games.
He's completely hurt in his 95 year. In his rookie year, he only played 8 games.
That's still a lot of extra games.
Extra games? Yeah, but I mean, we can't go solely off picks. How?
What you do? Because you were about to make the argument of, well, look, man, his career span, this amount of games, he has this many numbers. You were about to go there. Yes, you were. I saw you. You were setting it up. Yeah, you were trying to set it up.
I was considering it, but that's not my main. That's not the main one to go after. It's more that, I mean, are we really going to be looking at just picks here?
Well, this is the thing. They don't have all of Mel Blount's other stats in terms of the tackles, in terms of the forced fumbles. They don't have all that up there. They both scored touchdowns. I think Mel has 1 touchdown. Rod had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But they don't have the rest of Mel Blount's stats up there.
Do they have his... Well, let me see.
Just the difference in the eras, man. They weren't tracking all that stuff like that.
No, for sure. They don't have his tackles, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have none of that stuff, right? I'm like, were they still doing all pros back then?
Yeah, that's tough.
Because for him to have a depot, but there is no all pros listed for that, man. Like, how?
They weren't doing all pros.
I'm asking, were they? I don't think they were for Mel Blount.
Dude, Rod Woodson, even with the tackles, man, 100 tackles in a season, 95,
but what do we know from Mel? That's what I'm saying. We're saying
88.
That he had 671 tackles as a Steeler. That's a ton of tackles. But we do not know what Mel had.
And you could say with Rod Woodson, though,
we know who's the more physical corner.
That defense wasn't necessarily the 70s defense. It was a great defense. Those 90 defenses were great. So
think about this, though. Those 70 defenses, and Mel was the best player on that defense for one of those years. We do know that.
One of those years, correct.
It should have. Let's be real about it. People will argue and say he could have had it multiple times, but they gave it to a couple other guys, and they said, we're not going to keep giving it to Steelers.
Who would people say during that time period, though, are the best players on that defense?
Mel's going to be in that conversation.
He's probably top 3 or 4. You would have Joe Green and Lambert for sure.
Yeah, they're always going to be in that conversation.
And then there'd be an argument between Mel Blount and Jack Ham, maybe in that mix too.
All I'm saying is you just named off 4 gods on the football field.
Right. Rod Woodson's during that 90s era. He was head and shoulders above all of them. for like best player on the Steelers defense.
Who was he playing with?
What do you mean?
Name some of the guys he played with.
He had Greg Lloyd, Kevin Green. Like I'm naming some great players. Greg Lloyd and Kevin Green versus Jack Lambert, Mean Joe Green. I mean, you don't think there's a difference there?
You gonna just poo-poo Kevin Green like that? Boy, stop.
Oh, come on. Dude.
What? You just said you don't think there's a difference there? What?
The difference between Rod Woodson and Mel Blount in general is very small. So you gotta pull out all the stops.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not poo-pooing Kevin Green. I'm just.
So you taking Jack Ham or Kevin Green?
I don't really know. Jack Ham has the better career accolades. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
In terms of short span, we did talk about Kevin.
We just look at raw numbers. What Kevin could do as a pass rusher.
That wasn't really Jack Ham's role.
No, it wasn't. No, it
was a 4-3 back then.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
hard to compare them.
That is a tough comparison.
Yeah. But you brought the comparison up.
You
brought it up. That's 90s, what you said.
90s defense versus the 70s defense.
Kevin Green is Kevin Green. I don't care what defense. I don't care what generation.
Yeah, but Rod Woodson's still the best player on that defense. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You disagree?
I said it was okay. So I'm gonna say it's okay.
Rod Woodson was the GOAT. He was one of the two GOATs.
Don't say he's the GOAT. You cannot say he was the GOAT because prime time was the GOAT. It's not even. Hey, it is what it is. I was about to say it's not even close. I don't want to disrespect Rod because Rod's a good guy. We need to get him on the show too, man. He's an awesome cat, bro.
That'd be awesome. We could talk this debate with him.
But bro, you're not gonna disrespect Prime.
I won't.
Don't say he's one of. Don't disrespect Prime.
One of the two GOATs.
Don't disrespect Prime. He was the GOAT in the 90s. Period.
So that's what I'm going. So they both have a defensive player of the year. Mm-hmm. I'm going with Rod Woodson's 7 Pro Bowls, 5-time All-Pro, shorter time with the Steelers.
All I'm saying is you can't throw out the All-Pro element when that wasn't tracked for.
But how many Pro Bowls does he have? He has 4.
He has 5 Pro Bowls.
5 Pro Bowls. So Rod Wilson's got 7. We'll even just put it that way.
Okay.
Both defensive player of the year. And we can't strictly go off picks.
Who had?
Because this was the point I was trying to make earlier.
Who had more of an impact on the NFL?
Come on, dude. Come on. If anything, Rod Woodson's time as a cornerback is harder because of Mel Blount.
No. Who had more impact on the NFL?
What does this have to do with what cornerback am I taking?
I'm going to take the guy who had an impact on the NFL.
Dude, you're moving the goalpost.
I'm not. I'm going with the guy who impacted the NFL to the point they said, look, man, it's not competitive because he is just destroying everyone and catching picks. Because people just say, oh, man, it's because the 5-yard rule, this and this and this. He wasn't doing it. The boy had 57 picks. He's doing something right.
He made Rod Woodson's
and he was slamming guys on their heads. We saw that. Super physical. I don't see any highlights of Rod Woodson slamming anybody on their head. That's not Rod's game. We know that. We know that. I know Mel he gonna big or small receiver, he putting them palms on him. He could play run support. He gonna slam you. He can intimidate. He first got off the bus. I mean, have you seen what the guy looks like? Holy cow. Even now, he still got the juice. And he catching picks. And he was standing on one of the greatest defenses ever. Still curtain.
The best player on those defenses?
He was the best player in the NFL for a year. What are we talking about? Though, so what are we talking about then?
Over the course of all their careers.
Did he not get a depot with those guys?
Did he not get
a depot with those
Lambert
guys?
and Green.
Did he not get a depot over those guys?
Those dudes have won defensive player of the years as well.
So did he get one over those guys? Yes or no?
For 1 year, he did. But
okay,
Rod Woodson won defensive player of the year too.
But you said he did it with like Kevin Green. Remember Kevin Green and Greg Lloyd?
Come on, dude.
Bro, who's better? Right?
But you just said those guys are very.
Give me Joe Green over Kevin
players.
Green. Give me Jack Ham over Greg Lloyd if I had to pick, I guess.
No,
what you saying?
No, dude, you're playing into my point because
no. So I'm saying that Mel Blount had to stand up with far more talent. He had to be head and shoulders better.
Come on,
head and shoulders better.
Come on,
than all those
or
guys.
Is he a benefactor of a great defense as well? Or
it's hard to benefactor. Whereas they changed, the NFL had to change a rule.
Rod Woodson was hands down the best player on those defenses. He just was like
who impacted the NFL greater?
I don't know what this has to do with the Steelers.
If I'm saying team. They both on the Steelers, right?
Yeah.
One impacted the NFL while being a Steeler, right?
And you're talking about physicality. Rod, I just said 100 tackles, 83, 90 tackles he was getting in seasons. And so he's obviously a physical corner.
Or he's drag down.
What?
Or he's a drag down tackler.
Come on.
No, because we had this. We would joke with Shay. Ryan Shay said all the time about this. That first year, he would ton of tackles. Boy, you drag down king. You ain't FaceTime nobody. Every time you hit somebody, you dragging them. Oh, please fall. Please fall. Help. We say Shay gonna get there first, but we got to come and back him up because he's not gonna get him down. They're gonna gain an extra 3-4 yards. Stats look good though, right? So you look at the tackles, say, oh, man, that's a lot of tackles. I look at Mel Blunt's tackles. I've never seen Mel Blunt get ran over. Every highlight I've seen of Mel Blunt's him dumping somebody on their head, ragdolling somebody. If he didn't have a football uniform on, they would have arrested that man for abuse. Could have called it child abuse the way he was dogging some of these guys out here, man.
That's what I mean. He made it harder on Rod Woodson, actually.
No, in fact, he played in a tougher era because the rules were that, hey, man, the receivers could do what they wanted to do to you, too. And he had to go up there in big dog status that. Rod was in the era where it's like, hey, man, all right, hey, I ain't going to touch you. You don't touch me.
The 90s, that's not the 90s.
You saw, hey, I'm just saying he won prime.
Well, we're not talking Rod Woodson versus prime, though. Dude, you're moving this all over the place. But
he won prime.
Hold on. The thing with the interceptions, though.
You talking about the interceptions that that Mel almost doubles? You talking about those?
Well, less years for Rod Woodson with the Steelers.
I don't care.
But we can't just go simply off that. I
agree. You like to bring up the numbers. Then when I throw it out there, then you don't want to bring up the numbers.
Because the cornerback's different. People could just not be throwing his way.
Oh, whatever you say. So they were throwing Mel Blunt's way?
Huh?
They were throwing Mel Blunt's way?
I guess they were.
Or I guess he was going out there making plays.
He was doing both. Okay. That's fine.
It's not like Rod wasn't, huh?
He's a 4-time Super Bowl champ. He's a Hall of Famer. So there's a lot of good things there. How many interceptions did you say for Mel Blunt?
57.
57. So if I'm looking at Deion Sanders, Deion has 53 over the course of his career.
Okay.
We said Rod Woodson 38 with the Steelers.
Yeah.
So 53 over the course of his career. If you take his first however many years,
come on, man. Let me hit this janky math.
I'm just saying it's probably high 30s and the 40s for Deion Sanders too.
All the janky math, and we would say eyeball test too. Like you said, we can't just go numbers only. Eyeball test. We know what prime was.
I know, we know Rod Woodson was too. That's why I'm not going.
We know
solely,
what prime was.
That's why I'm not going solely based off the picks. If you're going over the course of career too, he's got 71 picks to Mel Blunt. We're not. We're not going to do that. I mean,
I agree.
It's something to consider though.
No, because you like to bring it up when we were talking Joe.
That's what I mean. I'm still going to consider Rod Woodson still balled out outside of the Steelers.
Yeah. He won prime though.
Huh?
He won prime.
Come on, dude.
I don't care what you say. I'm not hearing that. You're not about to sit here and convince me that Rod Woodson was better than prime time.
I never did that.
You tried to. You said he was the GOAT.
Was one of the GOATs.
No. It can't be multiple GOATs. We got one GOAT.
There's a couple GOATs.
How can you be the greatest of all time?
If I'm saying GOATs, I'm saying LeBron and Jordan are GOATs.
All I'm saying is, how do you say greatest of all time? Greatest of all time. That statement means that you are the greatest.
And then you say in the 90s too.
No. It's how are you the greatest of all time if there's somebody else that was just as great or greater than you?
It's just something to consider. We got two GOATs out there.
You can just say you're one of the best then.
I can't say you're the greatest. I like saying GOAT. I mean,
but that takes away from GOAT.
It's a nice catchphrase.
That's like when people say great. Oh, that was a great play. How is a 3-yard run a great play? Everything can't be a great play. Everybody can't be a GOAT. That's just how it works, man.
I mean,
you oversaturating the word. You watering it down.
No, it already is. So
exactly. So why are you going to fall into that? Why you going to follow the leader?
There's going to be a new word that comes out.
Are you a leader or are you a follower? Which one are you? Huh?
I just think it's funny to say.
You a follower, Deke?
I just like saying
you want to follow everybody being a GOAT. Everybody's a GOAT. Duck's a GOAT. Mason's a GOAT. Everybody's a GOAT.
No, that's a little too far.
They're GOATs, bro.
You got to be at least top 5 in your position.
They were top 5 on the QB roster last year. They're GOATs.
Like I could say multiple GOAT. Like Lev Bell's a GOAT. Zeke Elliott's a GOAT of like the 2010s. Like I could say that. Throw it out there.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson a GOAT.
How can all those guys be GOATs? They all play in the same era. How can they all be GOATs?
Just a bunch of GOATs out there.
Nah, bro. That's not how it works, man.
I like saying it. It's funny to say.
One of the best. He's one of the best. He's one of the best to ever do it, man. You can't say he was a GOAT though. Only one GOAT.
The word's already getting watered down.
So why are you adding to that?
I mean, I'm probably the reason it is.
Oh gosh. Oh man.
I'm probably part of the problem.
Strong possibility.
So I'm taking Rod. You're taking Mel Blunt as your one.
Mm-hmm.
We got anything else?
No, man, that was cool, though, man. I'm trying to think, man.
We gonna keep this one shorter? Because what do we got? we're even at 53 right now.
Exactly. We're gonna keep this one shorter. We're good. We got an interview that they're gonna.
That's what I mean. We got a 30-minute interview here too. So I think this was kind of the plan. I think it went longer than we expected.
It did, man, because you started talking reckless in here.
No way, dude.
Who's Dwayne Woodruff? Who's this guy?
I don't know.
All right. So anywho, man, enjoy this interview. Y'all definitely gonna like that, man. Definitely enjoy the podcast. Y'all stay safe. Keep washing your hands. Mm-hmm. Make sure you're enjoying your family during this coronavirus quarantine situation. Situation. You know what I mean? Make it the best. Like I said, thanks again for tuning in. Thanks again for viewing. And until next time.
Peace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Got a very, very special guest coming on the podcast with us today. This guy started out as an undrafted corner out of USC. Yes, the Trojans, but he has went on to have a very, very successful 7-year career. And I say thus far because this man is still going, man. His trajectory is crazy high. He's been with the Buffalo Bills where we were teammates together. Was with the LA Rams where he went on to play in Super Bowl 53. And he recently signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. Without further ado, Nickell Robey-Coleman. What's good, bro?
What's good, baby? Not much, man. Just chilling, man. Thank you for having me on your show.
Nah, man, I appreciate you, man. So first off, how have you been handling this quarantine situation, man? I know this is nuts right now.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy right now. It's definitely a different switch up. But I'm just trying to be resourceful as possible. Stay out the way, stay inside, stay around, my group of people, and just, lay low, man. Lay low as possible. I get my training in, but for the most part, man, just staying inside, and quarantining on the inside, and making sure I keep my 6 feet.
I can dig that, man. I like it, man. Now, this offseason, man, you signed with the Philadelphia Eagles, man. So just talk about what led to you signing with them.
Well, the Rams let me go back on the free agency market. I had an option with them, so they didn't pick up the option.
Hey man, that's their loss. Just throwing it out there. Slot God don't play. Slot God don't play.
Straight up. And so it was just a situation where I was back out on the market again, and Philadelphia was raving about me, and they said some good things about me, and I'm pretty familiar with Coach Schwartz.
Yeah, the reunited, man.
Right, and his scheme, and the way he do things, and just getting acclimated with the coaches, the new coaches, and everything like that. And so it's been a good feeling. I can't wait to get started officially. I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. Philly, that's a new city, so can't wait to bring some new juice there.
I like it, baby.
How did this offseason and free agency work for you compared to prior years with this whole quarantine situation? So Philly, like you said, is raving about you and is interested. Did any other teams have interest, and what was your timeline in terms of picking a team, and how did you meet with them, and things like that?
Got you. It was a situation where it was just a lot of phone calls, people talking. We all just basically, negotiating. I had Minnesota reached out, Cleveland reached out. Who else reached out? Tampa. I spoke to Tampa a little bit.
Oh, Brady.
I talked to Houston. a little bit. I talked to Dallas a little bit. So it was quite a few teams out there that was interested in me, but Philly was more. They was building a report on me. They was making sure they was calling. They make sure just checking out the situation, see if I was still available, and we were just feeling around and seeing what was best for me and what's best for my future. And Philly, they convinced me the most, and looking at their situation and what they had going on, I felt that I was like the best fit for their team, and me bringing what I can bring to the table, I know I can only make the team better.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And when you look at the fact that they were able to acquire you along with Darius Slade, Javon Hargrave, they're definitely doing some things on that defense that's going to make them really tough next year, bro.
Yeah, they're spicing it up. So I can't wait to see what we're going to get in the draft. I assume we're going to get some offensive players in the draft. figuring out that we went all defense for the offseason free agency. So I'm excited to see what we're gonna get in the draft. Then, man, we're gonna attack, man.
I like
fly
it.
Eagles fly.
I like it, bro. Now, man, you went from being undrafted, like we talked about earlier, to one of the top slot corners in the game, man. So, what's been the biggest reason for your success?
Just playing at a high level, and being consistent. Consistently being a professional. Coming to work every day with a mentality of trying to be the best and wanting to win. I love winning. I'm a sore loser, man. So when it comes to winning, I'm very passionate, and I love the game a lot. So when I'm going to work, man, I just keep my mindset like, man, I'm here to win. I'm here to play at a high level. And I just want to show my peers and my teammates that they can trust me, they can depend on me.
Nah, man. And honestly, you say that, but it's reflected in your work ethic, man. I know I was with you your rookie year, and you could see just then, man, the way you would come to work every day, dedicated, just hungry. And that's the thing that I feel like is a big reason also in terms of why you've been able to stick, man, just being a humble cat that's not afraid to get his hands dirty and just go to work hard, bro.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely, man. My dad always told me, just be an ant, just keep your head down and just keep working. Hard work will pay off. And so I just always kept that in the back of my mind.
Now, I don't know if you've seen or at least heard the Howard Stern interview with Tom Brady, but one of the things he said, and this is a follow-up to what Moats is talking about here, that whenever he was drafted or going into the draft to the NFL, he didn't have a plan B at all. He was just focused on football, did not have anything in the back of his mind. Could you say that was the same way for you? Did you have that same mentality, even being an undrafted rookie coming in? Maybe the chances of you making the team aren't that high compared to other guys. Were you just solely focused on being an NFL player?
Yes, I can definitely agree to that because I left school my junior year, so education wasn't the reason why I chose to I could have stayed my last year and got my degree and did all of that, and so I was like, no, I said 3 years and I'm gone, and I don't care where I end up at. I just know that I belong in the league, and I always felt that way about myself. And so whenever I got that opportunity, and when I went undrafted, I was like, wow. So there's no other. There was nothing else. There was anything else to accomplish but being a starter, being a football player, being out there on the 53-man roster. And so another motivation had kicked in. Off the fact that I didn't have a plan B. So I put everything into plan A, and it worked out for me. It worked out for me. I went back and got my degree though. Whenever I got stable again, but for initially, there was no plan B for me because I couldn't turn back after I put my ballot in to go to the draft, to the combine. So from that point on, I was like, this got to work. You know what I'm saying? Nothing else can't go wrong at this point. I got to do this. So that's what sat heavy on my mind. Coming out into the draft.
What happened with the draft? Were you expected to get drafted?
To be honest, I didn't know what was going to happen. I got a draft. My draft grade was third, fourth round. I had third, fourth round draft grade. And I said, well, if I just do well, do my thing, I don't know what, chips can fall either way. And, as any kid growing up that want to go to the NFL, they want to get their name called on TV. And that's all I cared about. I just wanted to get my name called on TV. I just wanted to say, Nickell going here. But I didn't get that opportunity. And so reality struck on me again, and I was just like, well, wow, like, all my life, I just want to get my name called. So that didn't happen. So I was just like, man, I got to go out here and I gotta have cold veins. I got to go out here and, make sure I'll be a starter at least. I didn't get my name called. So I got to come out here and ball out. I got to come out here and just show the critics and show everybody what they missed out on.
Well, dog, I love it. Love it. Now,
yes, sir.
Now, man, you had one of the opportunities to play in a Super Bowl. I mean, we talk about guys play their whole careers, 10 years, never get that opportunity. You got the opportunity to play in Super Bowl 53. So just talk about what that whole experience was like for you.
Man, it was everything what I thought it would be. Growing up, I always wanted to go to a Super Bowl as well. Play in the Super Bowl, win or lose. I just wanted to be in the Super Bowl, and I got the opportunity, and it was everything what I thought it was. The hype, leading up to the game, um, everything that we did in between time, just being with your teammates, sharing moments, doing the media, and just having that attention, that nobody else is having, while everybody else at home, you getting that special attention, man, and it felt so good. I can't even front. It was a good feeling.
That's dope.
If I could do it again, I would definitely do it again, and that's what I'm trying to do right now, obviously.
Anything you would do different?
Yes, yes. I would, what I would do different if I had another chance to go. I wouldn't be so energetic. I feel like I put so much energy. I put I put so much energy in every single day leading up to the game. To when I got to the game, I was a little. I didn't feel the same because I had so much hype during the whole 2 weeks. That when I got to the game, I was kind of like, a little bugged out a little bit. Like, okay, you know what I'm saying? All right, cool. All right, now we to the game. And I'm like, wow, I gotta play 4 quarters. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, you know, them 2 weeks building up. Everybody showing you love, media everywhere, people just everywhere, hotel rooms, people just everywhere, and you just trying to give your time to people and everything like that. So if I would have went again, if I would go again, I'm gonna lock myself up in the room. I'm gonna just chill. And when I get out there on the game, I'm gonna ball out, and then I do everything else after the game.
I
After we
like it.
win, I do everything else. But that's what I change. That's what I change for sure.
Gotcha. Now, obviously, you played against Brady in the Super Bowl. Now, I'm curious, as the slot corner, is there a specific quarterback or quarterbacks that you find hardest to go up against? Is it simply just, Brady, Rodgers, Breeze, those guys? But is it different as a slot corner? Is there someone that maybe we wouldn't be thinking of?
Russell Wilson. Because he's a scrambler, and he loved to throw. He loved to throw the ball between the hashes, and he loved to throw the ball inside the numbers. And so, like, he loves to throw, like, to his tight ends, his slots. And so, with that being said, he's gonna put the ball in tight spots, and he's gonna scramble. He's gonna scramble around, and his receivers work so well with him because they already know he's gonna scramble. So it's like, instead of covering for 3 4 seconds, now you got to cover for 8 8 seconds, 7 8 seconds now. So, like, it's hard to cover somebody for that long, and so that's what I hate the most about, other than the other goats like Tom Brady and all those guys. Not saying that Tom can't scramble, but Russell Wilson, that's what he's known for.
Yeah.
And so he can extend plays and make off schedule throws, and which can be very tiresome to a defense.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Is there a toughest receiver?
The toughest receiver I went against was Jarvis Landry. He's a dog in the slot, and he go hard, he block hard, he's strong, he's aggressive when he needs to be, high energy, big motor. So he was like, even from the days of when we just go at it, when he was in Miami and I was at Buffalo, we used to go at it a lot in the slot, and I still have that same respect for him. I went against him last year, when we played against Cleveland, and he did some good things, and so um, he's a tough guy, and I like the way he played.
Respect. Now,
Yeah.
you mentioned this earlier, man, in 2019, where you went back to USC to finish up your undergrad degree. So just talk about what was the inspiration behind that?
My mom. I made a promise to my mom,
Respect.
that I was going to get my degree, and after I signed to USC, 2 weeks later she passed away. But when I signed that day, she just said, "Promise me that you're gonna get your degree." She's like, "I know you're pretty good at football, and you could do some special things, but I was, just promise me you're gonna get your degree." And I promised her, I was gonna get my degree, and I was gonna finish school, and not be a statistic to society, and actually, have a footprint out here in the real world. And so I did that, and man, that was a monkey. that was a monkey lifted off my back. I thought the Super Bowl was something, but getting that degree, that was like the highlight of 2019 for
Bro,
me.
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, when I got my degree, it was a dope situation. It
That's
was cool.
awesome. And major respect to you too, man, for that, because it's not easy to go back to school, especially when you've had success in the NFL and have started getting the money, man. That's crazy tough to do, bro.
Yeah, man, it was crazy, man. Even the professors, they was even like, well, they didn't know what to say to me. They was just like, well, yeah, nice to have you. Thanks for coming to class. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, just make sure you pass me.
Right. Oh man.
Now, I was reading an ESPN article related to that story with your mom passing whenever you were, I think it was 17, right? And then your son passed away too shortly after he was born. Your quote was, "It's a beautiful storm you can't really describe. It's ugly, but it's great. It hurts, but it feels good." Can you explain that? How you find the beauty and I guess the happiness in those type of situations?
Yes. What I meant by that is it's like a a beautiful storm, a beautiful nightmare. Was what I was trying to like basically depict. Basically saying that it's like a blessing in disguise. Things happen to you, and you don't quite understand what's going on, and you got to keep living life, and you keep going through life, and keep overcoming obstacles. And then once you get to the other side, you realize how strong you have become, how more resilient have become, how much of a man you have become. And you would never did it without those impactful current events happening to you. At that time, like when my son passed, I was like, it hurt it so much, but it made me more of a better father. It made me a better man. Moving on, moving forward. So now I cherish my kids even more. I'm more grateful for my kids. I pay more attention. I'm more aware of what's like the involvement in their life. Even with my mom, like when I lost my mom, that's why I always tell anybody that got a mom, like, love your mom, man. Like, you just don't know, like, she can leave any day, realistically. And it's just like, when those type of things, when somebody else don't have them, and they wish if I could swap somebody for a day just with a mom, like, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? And so that made me more, that right there made me more stronger as a man. It made me care about my sister more, and how and what she sees. It made me care about how my cousins look at me from a standpoint, and I got to be a example to them, because if I crumble or fall, then they're gonna feel just as weak. So I got to make sure that I stay strong, and I got to make sure that I overcome, and not just that, learn from it, and catapult myself to another level. And that's all I wanted. That's all what I meant by it. And it just made me a better person. That's why I was like, man, it's a bittersweet. Like, wow, I wish my mom can see what her son has become today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's just that's what I really meant by it. In the standpoint, in a certain way, that's what I meant by it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
No doubt, man, and definitely sorry for your losses too, man. But that's deep right there, bro.
Man, appreciate it, man. No problem, man. No problem. We all have our ups and downs, but I just keep my head strong, just pray, and just make sure God keep my mind.
Absolutely, bro. Now, on a lighter note, man, you were part of one of the most talked about controversial plays in NFL history, I feel like, bro. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. And for those that don't know, we're talking about the NFC Championship game versus the New Orleans Saints, the no call, PI, no PI, whatever it was.
Yes.
Man, just talk about how you handled that moment and everything that's come with it.
Oh man, when I tell you that was the craziest time of my life. So when that happened, it was the crowd was going. It was ecstatic. It was crazy. It was the crowd was going nuts, and And the only thing I could think about is, if now that I look at the play, I wish I would have turned around. I wish I would have turned around, but at that time, I could not turn around. So man, I just hit old boy, man, and like for a split second, I looked at the referee. The referee like literally looked me dead in my eyes, and like I was just like, oh Lord, he finna throw the flag. And then next thing you know, he's just waving incomplete. I was like, oh Jesus. I was like, oh man, I can't believe this happened. So like I was shocked. And so I went back to the sideline, and everybody was like, wow, I can't believe they didn't throw a flag. I was like, I can't believe it either. And it was crazy, man. And so after the game, well, even before after the game, like fans was just talking crazy to me. And then like after the game, people was DMing me, man. I had like over 1,000. I had over 1,000 DMs on my Instagram. I had over 2,000 messages on Facebook.
Yo, that's crazy.
Like just messages.
Oh,
and so like my followers went from, at first I had like 50,000 followers, and after that I had like 100,000 followers. After that, like my followers went up overnight. I was like, wow, this is. And then like the media got a hold to it, and that when it was over. That when it was over. They blew it up, and it was definitely different. I was just like, what have I done? I was just like, what have I done? and everybody was just, my teammates was like, you got us to the Super Bowl.
Ain't no question.
Like great, like we went overtime, and then Drew Brees threw that interception. We kicked the field goal, called it a day. And man, so that whole 2 weeks after the leading up to the Super Bowl, man, I was going through all that, man. Even when I got to the media thing in the Super Bowl, like crowds and crowds of people was all around me, just asking me about that same play. Everybody asked me 100,000 questions in just the same way, but in different words. So I kept saying the same thing every single time. Yeah. I was like, y'all all asking the same question.
I just read something that you've watched that play 4,000 to 5,000 times. Is that true?
I watched it over 1,000 for sure, but I probably been a little over because I was really trying to see like what was going on, because they would say there was a lot of things going on, because they were like, it was holding during the play. It was, let's say the O line was holding. They said
O line holds every play, man.
Right, exactly. They said the ball was tipped. So I'm looking at every single angle that I can possibly look at to see if like, am I the real cause of this play?
Oh man.
And man, and when I kept looking at it, I was like, man, Nickell, just hang it up. You was the cause of this whole play. We could blame it on all this other stuff, but in the media, they got you or ESPN smacking somebody in midair.
And they end up fining you for that too, right?
Yep, I got fined for it.
Oh man,
I got fined for it, and that was for no reason. Because I was like, well, so they went from pass interference to head to head. I'm like, wait, hold on, am I getting fined for pass interference? They're like, nah, you hit him head to head. And I was like, head to head. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to even say anything because this is bogus. Like, this is bogus.
Hey, I looked at it. I said, man, they gave you the James Harrison treatment. They said, you know what? We can't get him for this. We're going to find him for this. And then they find you again in the Super Bowl. I was like, yo, this is crazy.
Yeah. Yes. And that was a get, and even I thought that was a get back call. I was like, that's a get back call, because that was a simple screenplay, and I made a simple tackle. Right. It was literally a simple tackle, and they made that one a whole ordeal as well. So I was just like, man, y'all got it. I ain't got nothing to say. Y'all got it.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But like I said, man, for you though, you got your Super Bowl appearance out of it. And
right.
Yeah, you definitely became an overnight celebrity, man. Like, it blew you up crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like, I was trending. It was definitely overnight for sure. It was definitely overnight.
I like it, man. Now, before I let you go, man, we always ask our guests this one question right here, man. So just tell us about your welcome to the NFL moment.
Whoo. Man, let me go back real quick. Oh yeah. Rookie year, we played the Panthers, and we was going against. Yeah, we playing against the Panthers.
Steve Smith, D'Angelo Williams.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
In Buffalo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. In Buffalo. And man, it was a chippy game.
Yeah.
I'm talking about real trash talking. I'm talking about like going at it. I'm talking about like going at it. And I was just seeing how intense Steve Smith played. And I was just like, wow, like he really got a lot of sleep at night because he's talking and running and catching. That's a lot of energy.
Bro, every play.
Like,
every play.
You know how that is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, like that is crazy how much of a high level that he, you know what I'm saying, that he was playing at. And then when he was blocking me, he was just basically digging me out the dirt, basically. I was just like, oh my God. And then he was just calling me little boy and calling me like, he's like, you ain't bigger than my son. I got a dog bigger than you. He's like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was just like, you know, he was just giving it to me, you know what I'm saying? But Leotis, you know, he was following him around for the most part. But when he went in the inside, you know, I had to guard him sometimes, and like his blocking was just crazy, and how strong he was, and he was just a dog, man. And I think Steve Smith gave me my official welcome. Him and Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald blocked me so far out of bounds. He blocked me so far out of bounds. I was like, oh my God, like what is this? This dude is a freaking. This dude not human. Like I was trying to break his. You know how you try to like break off. It wasn't going anywhere. Like it was like, and it was solid. It was solid. I'm like, what is wrong? He can't be normal.
Hey, bro, and Larry's a big dude. People forget, like, Larry is not a little receiver, man.
No, man. Larry is huge, man. Larry is so huge. And that's I think Steve Smith and Larry Fitzgerald gave me my welcome to the NFL, man. They blocked me. They dug me out, man. Yeah, they dug me out. Yeah, you see, I'm not even talking about routes right now.
Right.
I'm talking about
blocking.
Yeah, I'm just talking about blocking. Like they so physical on the perimeter. It was crazy. So, they gave me my welcome to the league, man, and they made me realize, like, do I really want this? Like, do I really want this NFL shit? Like,
got you talking to yourself.
Yeah. Like, how much do you really want it? Like, you say you want it, but how much? Like, are you willing to really go out there and really sacrifice for real? Like these boys doing? So it really made me question myself for a split second, and I was just like, you know what? I got to get my ass in the weight room, and I will never let that happen again. Anybody else, it's not happening. It's not happening. Like, no, it's not happening. No deal.
Major respect, man.
Straight up, man.
I can't say this, man. Ever since that game and since following your career, man, you've definitely stepped up in a huge way, man, and continue to be on a crazy high trajectory, bro. So definitely keep doing it, man.
Appreciate it, Moats, man. I appreciate that.
No doubt, man. We appreciate you coming on the show, man. Stay safe out here. Do your thing next year, man, with Philly, man. All love.
All love, baby.
All right, bro. Peace.
All right, man.
Yes,
Peace.
sir.